Welcome to something a bit different I'll be doing on NASCAR Inside the Line. Um, if you remember all the way back to 2016, I did a Let's Play on this game with Jeff Gordon in his DuPont Chevrolet. So I'm doing something similar, but I'm putting a little twist on it. It will be a custom-made schedule. If you saw the screencast I did a few days ago, you can see the format, but I will go through it again right here. So this rate, all races except for the second race of the Watkins Glen doubleheader will feature qualifying and race. Difficulty will be on normal. Each race will be 20% of the actual advertised distance. So the Daytona 500 is 200 laps. 20% of 200 is 40. Tire wear and fuel use will be at max. Flag rules will be on cautions only. And damage and failures will be on full blast. And I will show off the starting lineup. And at the end of each race, I will keep an update on the point standings starting after race number 2. The point standings format, how I will keep track, will be similar to what NASCAR does in real life with the elimination style chase format that was introduced in 2014. So, without further ado, let's go qualify. So every race starting after race 2 at Las Vegas, which will be at 2:30 Eastern, 12:30 Mountain, will basically cut right to qualifying after I recap the previous race, followed with some track facts, and then the 2 outlaps. And then it will show a full preview of the starting grid showing where each driver starts. I will be driving a custom-made 25 Chevrolet with a possibility of custom paint schemes being added in at random times throughout the season. Anyways, let's go for a little 5-mile cruise around Daytona. Daytona International Speedway, typically known by many across the motorsports world as the World Center of Racing, was opened up in 1959. This 2.5-mile superspeedway is one of 2 tracks on the NASCAR Cup Series circuit, which use the restrictor plate package, a package that puts a plate on the engine to slow the cars down and allow them to drive in big packs of 20 to 30 cars. Exciting for the fans? Yes. Nerve-wracking for the drivers? Even more so. Coming out of turn 4 to get the green flag for our first lap, the outlap. You want to be following a line sort of where I'm at, and it's only 1 lap. You can see I'm kind of edging towards the top and middle lane, but typically in a pack, when you're out front, you want to block a lot. Down, top, bottom. Try not to get caught in the middle or try not to mistime a block too early. Otherwise, you're going to be in the wall. Kurt Busch, driving the 51 Phoenix Racing Chevrolet, has got a pull time of 51:33. And we'll see where I end up after all this. So this puts us, wow, 1 second short of Kurt Busch. We'll go ahead and run the second out lap here. A little bit of an improvement. See if that improves our time. There you see the Fox Sports Chevrolet, which will be the main paint scheme used throughout the for probably 8 races. The Sunoco and 2 Lincoln Welder cars will also be paint schemes that I will use. The electric blue variant will be used for night races exclusively. And the speed car will be used for the 2 road courses. So we're on the pole for the Daytona 500. And here is your starting lineup. Dylan Murway and Kurt Busch are on the front row. Kevin Harvick and Trevor Bayne are in row number 2. Kyle Busch and Dale Earnhardt Jr. are in row number 3. Roush Fenway teammates Matt Kenseth and Carl Edwards are going to be in row 4. Clint Bowyer and Tony Stewart will be in row 5. Jeff Burton and Martin Truex will be in row 6. Denny Hamlin and Greg Biffle will be in row 7. Hendrick teammates Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson, look for those two to team up today, will be starting from row 8. Marcus Ambrose and Sam Hornish will start from row 9. And Brad Keselowski and Paul Menard will start from row 10. Row 11 finds Casey Kane and David Reagan. Row 12 finds Regan Smith driving for Furniture Row Racing out of Denver, Colorado, alongside Joey Logano. Row 13 finds Juan Pablo Montoya and Casey Mears. Row 14 finds Eric Almirola and Jamie McMurray. Row number 15 finds Scott Speed and Mark Martin. Row 16 will find Ryan Newman and Ricky Stenhouse. Row 17 will find Bobby Labonte and Danica Patrick. Row 18 will find David Gilliland and Landon Castle. Row 19 will have David Stremme and Austin Dillon. In row 20, we'll have Travis Kvapil and Robbie Gordon. And the final 3 starting positions will be filled by Michael McDowell, Joe Nemechek, and Josh Wise. Pace car is off as Dylan Murway and Kurt Busch will lead the field down for the start. Laps today is will be on tap to app. Kevin Harvick locking onto the bumper of Dylan Murway. Looks like he's trying to push Dylan Murway out front, but Trevor Bayne, the 2011 winner, is just locked onto the bumper of Kurt Busch, and they are taking off. You can see what Kevin Harvick is doing in the corners. It's a new technique usually called slam drafting, where you bang into the car multiple times to try to move him along. But you can't slam into him too fast, otherwise you're going to put him in the wall, or you might trap somebody in the middle like they're doing right here as Kyle Busch, pushed by the 17 of Kenseth. There's a nice run in the inside lane as Dylan Murway gets squirrely, and now as the 15 of Clint Bowyer behind him. 43 cars, inches apart. Fans love this. Drivers, on the other hand, they do not. 3 laps complete. It looks like they're going to hang Dylan Murway up to dry on the inside lane as Casey Kane in the 5 comes to push him maybe. Farmers Insurance colors. The blue 5 car, Kenseth, will tuck in on the inside. Same with the 18 of Kyle Busch. Joey Logano is currently the fastest car on the racetrack as we speak. As you see, Denny Hamlin in the 11 get a push from the 42 of Juan Pablo Montoya on the inside lane as that lane forms up really fast. And looks like they're going to trap Denny Hamlin on the bottom lane until he backs up to the 18 of Busch, maybe? Nope. Seven cars breaking away in their own groups as you see Dylan Murway leading the group of 36 behind them, getting an amazingly good push from the 11 of Denny Hamlin. Pulls, and that's the benefits of drafting right here. As you see, the 25 all cuts through the clean air, could allows both Dylan Murway and Denny Hamlin to get away from the cars behind him, surrounding them and all that dirty air, and much less dirty air. And with the way Dylan Murway has been drafting, it could pull him to the front right here in this little 6-pack of cars on the outside. That's the problem with all this drafting. You see, it really damages the back bumper of the car in front. You can tell Dylan Murway was almost like he was trying to signal Hamlin to go low with him, and we'll maybe take him to the front. But after that save, I'm not sure if I trust him to do that. Six cars up front. They have broken away from the other group, the second pack behind, by a little over a second, or close to a second and a half now, as they're organized on the outside. Dylan Murway is trying to block, and now Denny Hamlin's getting a push from the 15 of Boyer, who is being pushed by the 56 of Truex. The Napa colors. And that's the difference here, is the car behind the 5 Casey Kane isn't really pushing. They're really just locked on and holding on versus what Hamlin was doing, which was slam drafting into the corners, which, if done correctly, can really push a driver forward. If done incorrectly, will cause a wreck. Kurt Busch will continue to lead here at Daytona. Currently, as of right now, he is in the lead group. And somehow, out of all this, Denny Hamlin gets shuffled to leading the third group, as there is quite a bit of side-by-side racing behind them. And the tow Dylan has is allowing a huge slingshot to the back bumper of Jeff Gordon. We'll 4-pack up front. See if Dylan can do some pushing. Now the pack of 36 continues to shuffle around, as nearly a big moment there between Hamlin and Montoya, as Dylan Murway creeps to the inside of Jeff Gordon. and passes 4 cars right here. And Trevor Main looking to the inside to take the lead, maybe, after a push from the 99 of Carl Edwards. Whoa! As those two who are working together, they come down pit road. Jeff Burton with a massive push to the back of Keselowski. And here comes Jeff Gordon, who almost spins Dylan out. They stay green. But look at this save that Dylan had just a few moments ago. Maybe Jeff Gordon tried pushing him into corners. Just the slight nudge right there can easily send those cars around. And it looks like a few more maybe heading to pit lane as well. Two laps complete. Keselowski and Hamlin working together. Dylan can sniff a draft. As cars in the first wave are coming to pit road as we speak. Oh. Also a big moment there with Trevor Bain as we got a car spinning in turn 4. No idea who that was. Looks like I think it was the 22 of Hornish. As Dylan will come down pit road this time. See what they do here on pit stops. It was Hornish that slid to the dirt in the grass in turn 4. That was somehow not a caution. As Hornish definitely was sliding across the track into turn 4. And that should have been a caution. As here comes Kurt Busch, getting ready to possibly lap some cars here. As the yellow is out for the first time this season. As there was Bobby Labonte having issues, getting hammered by Sam Hornish. In turn 3, no other cars were collected. A lot of cars got lucky on that yellow, as basically everybody from third on back pitted. Eric Almirola is the lucky dog. Bobby Labonte, who is part of the caution, will restart last. And Dylan Murway, who pitted just before the yellow came out, is in second for this restart. Austin Dillon with some damage in that accident. Probably in the Hornish recording from earlier. Huh. Kurt Busch launches out to an early lead, and if the line can get organized, whichever line that may be, they're toast. As Montoya bounces into the wall off of 2 and causes several other cars to stack up behind. And look who this traps on the outside. Trying to see if Dylan can try to bring the 42 with him. Maybe get him to the front. As it's the Dylan and Dylan show for second. Is Dylan Murray may try to get Austin Dillon to push him. And there he goes. Amazing push. And just like that, he's giving him little taps in the corners, but nothing too crazy to get him squirrely. Otherwise, that would cause a wreck. As here's the first lead change of the year, as Dylan Murray rockets around the 51 of Kurt Busch because of a push from the 33 of Austin Dillon. Dylan Murray leading some laps, see if they can keep the line together and possibly lead to the halfway lap in this race. And look at that. Dylan Murray is controlling the line. That's what we were talking about earlier. This is what we mean when we say that is, granted, people are not going to make crazy moves super late with so much time left. But look at what Dylan's doing. He's controlling the lane, and he's allowing wherever Kurt Busch goes, Dylan Murray keeps that Fox Sports Chevrolet right in front of him. Even if he gets loose, he comes right back down, and he's almost like he's driving with his mirror, basically. Now with a new driver in the inside lane, he's going to have to stop that run or get a big push from probably one of the best restrictor plate racers to do it, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Who had a push from the 33 of Austin Dillon, ironically. Let's see if we can get a nice little glamour shot of all the drivers in the pack. Couple Fords behind. Kurt Busch, who was second just a lap ago, he's falling pretty quickly like a rock. He's currently 8th on the inside lane and a long way to go to probably where Mark Martin's at. By the looks of things. Ooh, definitely a big moment there. Dylan Murray almost got turned by the 88 of Dale Jr. Just keeping him behind. Ooh, and here comes Junior to the inside, possibly with out to the lead. See how good Dylan can push. So you're walking right up to the back bumper of the National Guard Chevrolet, allowing Dylan Murray and Dale Earnhardt Jr. to get pushed pretty far out front by at least a good half a second over Brad Keselowski. At least until Brad Keselowski is somebody behind him that can challenge Dale Jr. and Dylan Murray for the lead. Plus, with the way these two drivers are pushing, these two groups are going, the longer both of these cars stay in the draft, they're going a lot faster than if they're racing by themselves. as here comes Dale Jr. to lead the midway lap here at Daytona. A couple cars probably getting their second round of green flag stops. As you see, Dylan Murray probably slingshot to the inside of Dale Jr. here to take the lead right back. Let's go ahead and crank it up for a couple laps. So far, only 3 leaders in this race. Kurt Busch led the opening stage of this race. Dylan Murray led a couple laps, and Dale Jr. led a few laps as well. And probably a sound green flag, the second string green flag pit stops. Only one caution is so far fallen in this race for a crash in turn 3 involving Bobby Labonte in the 47 and Sam Hornish Jr. in the 22. By the way, those of you who are looking for more classic races up to running the 103rd Indianapolis 500, at the end of August, I will be posting my personal favorite Indianapolis 500s up to race day, which will have a Indy 500 to go hand in hand with the real event if the real event is boring, and all of these races will be in HD. In terms of NASCAR events, since there are no other races at the Daytona road course, I will be posting classic road course races from the mid-2000s. On Saturday will be the 2003 Dodge Save-Mart 350, 1 o'clock Mountain, and on Sunday at 10 and 30 a.m. Mountain will be the 2006 AMB at the Glen. Dylan Murray making his way onto pit road. And so far, out of the way those two have been racing, it's been surprisingly clean. Not a lot of concerns or not a lot of racy drivers, just everybody in much smaller packs than what we could have had. Again, only one caution has happened so far in this race, and in terms of what we were expecting, at least 4 or 5 up to this point. Only 1 or 2. Only one caution up to this point for a 2-car accident on the backstretch. That's something. Dale Jr. getting right back in line and probably allowing Dylan Murray to come right back to his bumper. And depending on how pit stops cycle out, these 2 cars might be right back in the thick of things as the second yellow will come out. for Matt Kenseth and Joey Logano hard into the inside wall. Another two-car accident. Both of them were trying to blend in the line, and they just got together. And look at the cars that need to take the wave, that have taken the wave around in this race. Obviously, Matt Kenseth was the lucky dog, but he wrecked, so no lucky dog on this caution, but they still allowed him to take the wave around. 23 cars took the wave around. Notable names like Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Carl Edwards, even the 2010 winner of the 500, Jamie McMurray. So far, it's been Dylan Murray being a pretty good pusher for his first start from Murray Racing out of Greeley, Colorado. Now, let's see how he does in the second row, pushing someone to the front. The 10 of Danica Patrick on the inside lane. Dylan Murray locking bumpers with her. And then here comes Keselowski, who almost gets into Stewart. Danica Patrick getting a little too far out in front. See if she can back up to her Nationwide Series boss, the 88 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. As Brad Keselowski launches onto the back of the 25, as they go way out front. I think, honestly, if these guys start getting more chippy, we very well could see a lot of cautions in the second portion of this race. Probably around 5 to go is when some of the guys out in the back, like Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, that's when things will get chippy. As Kyle Busch launches in the second, Casey Mears on the high side, probably in fifth, looking to probably going to lose a couple spots here. As McMurray gets a push from the 93 of Quapple, the bright yellow smoothie Toyota. And here comes Casey Mears right back to that bumper. Oh, definitely a big moment there. As the lap car Jeff Burton's on the inside. Dylan Murray tucks in behind the 56 of Truex. As Hamlin just won't go, it looks like. Definitely pushes Busch to the point. And Busch to third, so it's a 1-2-3 Toyota battle as Truex probably going with Hamlin, tries to go around the 31 of Burton. As they're going to probably trap him on the high side with a couple more lap cars. Eric Almirola in the 43, Quapple in the 93. Dylan Murray teaming up with the 18 of Kyle Busch. 11 to go. Busch maybe looking to the inside, looking for some help. As Dylan Murray comes right to the back bumper as they try to negotiate a couple lap cars. As that second caution for Kenseth and Logano really negotiated things as Dylan Murray wants the lead for himself. Look at this. Inside for the lead. And unfortunately, these two lap cars are in the way. Oh, Dylan Murray almost got loose off of 4. Getting to the side of Truex. And he'll squirrely off of the turn. There's 10 laps remaining in this race. Push to the inside with, and probably trapping the Dylan Murray is trying. Can't tell if he's trying to drag the brakes to get behind Bush or trap him, but we're getting down to crunch time where you work with whoever you got. So Kyle Busch driving the Double Mint Gum Toyota for this race. Nine laps left in this one. Only 2 cautions for 2 car accidents. Mears coming on the inside, maybe. His run's stalling out. Tried squeezing in with Hamlin. Is Stewart with a huge run. Ooh, didn't expect that. As he gets loose, Mears maybe trying to look to the inside. Busch with the block. 8 to go. Oh, into the wall, and there it is. Nemechek, Robbie Gordon, Joey Logano, Sam Hornish. More wrecking further up. Looks like Del Miller is trying to side draft. Gets in Nemechek. Ooh, a lot of hard hits. Logano, Boyer, Stremme. Couldn't tell who was wrecking further up. Kurt Busch, Ricky Stenhouse, and David Stremme took the wave round on this caution. Here we go. 6 to go. Dylan Murray trying to maybe team up with Casey Mears and get him his second career Cup win. Locking bumpers on the outside to take the spot. Thinking, does he do that? Does he tuck in behind Truex? Those 2 cars get too far out unless they link or playing the link up. The field's going to run them all over. Dylan Murray with a lot of momentum to the outside. 3 wide and 2 to lead. Truex locking bumpers at the 56. 6 to go. 5 laps to go at Daytona. Dylan Murray and Martin Truex probably looking for a yellow if things keep getting dicey. Ooh, definitely a big moment. There is Truex. Saves it. Causes everyone to stack up, and they're wrecking again. This time, Brad Keselowski, Travis Kvapil, and Greg Biffle are involved. And more cars this time. Basically, that entire group exploded. Dale Jr. with a massive hit. Sam Hornish is there. Kyle Busch, Greg Biffle, Danica Patrick. And his cars begin to pile in behind. 4th yellow of the race. Just a mistimed block. Keselowski with a nice drift. And how about Juan Montoya and Jeff Gordon with the wreck avoidance? Full on fuel.
All 4 tires are worn. You need some gas. I think we can use a little more tape too. Okay, let's make this work.
We knew late in this race things are going to get a little chippy. to the point where we might see a lot of majority of cars pit in the overtime session, possibly, for fuel. Because so many of them will have to lap down due to the long green flag runs that we had in this race. So Tony Stewart and Brad Keselowski, after a kind of a sick techno drift, are on the front row for the restart. Any of all the drivers in this top 10 that have a win in this race, only Matt Kenseth has a Daytona 500 to his name. Everyone else looking for their first. 3 laps left in scheduled distance. We've had a bunch of small wrecks. We haven't had the big one that everybody talks about. Question is, when will it strike? Tony Stewart with a push from Keselowski off of turn 2. And here comes Kenseth, possibly to back up to the bumper of Dillon as he tucks in right in line. Does Kenseth go high, or does he go? Who's he go? Definitely pushed him a little further along out of that group in a couple spots. There's Dillon on the inside. Remember, Austin Dillon gave Dylan Murray that big push late as Tony Stewart comes to the line with 2 laps left. Oh, big moment for Austin Dillon, though. As Danica hard into the wall. Somehow everybody gets out of it. Oh, no, they're wrecking big. It's the big one. McMurray, Boyer kept stacked. Danica kept coming in. She tried to get down. And this is the result. Look at that. Jimmy Johnson going for a slide. Marcus Ambrose is there. Regan Smith, Jeff Gordon, Jamie McMurray, and more. Somehow it's still green back there. Look at all the cars all over the place. And yellow. McMurray, Ambrose, Stenhouse, Johnson, and more. This ought to be an entertaining restart. Austin Dillon and Brad Keselowski on the front row for the restart. First green light checkered attempt. We get up to 3. Dylan Murray able to fit right in behind Matt Kenseth in the 17. Keselowski up top. Looks like he doesn't have a lot of help or a lot of options. Whoa, almost a big moment there. There was a massive block on Kane. And here's Mark Martin coming to the inside with a push from Kurt Busch in 51. Kenseth takes the lead. Austin Dillon tucks in behind him. And Keselowski somehow is still able to hold his own in 3rd with no one pushing. Two laps left in this race. In this first green white checkered attempt. Question is, who pits? And more importantly, when do they pit? Did Dylan Murray team up with Mark Martin and push him to the front? As Dylan Uses him as a slingshot. Oh, there they go. Somehow they're not wrecking. And there they go. They're wrecking again. Montoya. Oh, one upside down. That's Clint Boyer who's upside down in that turn. And this is definitely the big one. Ryan Newman's there. Trevor Bain, Casey Mears. And it looks like Dylan Murray spins to the bottom. Ambrose is in it. Scott Speed, Sam Hornish, Kevin Harvick, Paul Menard, Jamie McMurray, Denny Hamlin. And more. Looked like Dylan was trying to tuck in, maybe move up with Keselowski, and Boyer was flipping way in the back before this all got. Wow, hard hit by Montoya, and there's at least a good 20 plus cars involved in that crash. Take two at a green light checkered. Kenseth and Kane on the front row. Matt Kenseth tucks in on the outside. Here comes Truex. Maybe can he help Dylan Murray, or will he go for the win himself? You see what Kenseth is doing. He's gauging who is where. Dylan Murray got a horrible start because everyone's pairing up on the outside lane. That looks to be the spot as Kenseth drops back with no help on the inside. Dylan Murray with a lot of momentum on the inside lane. Got a group of 7 cars bunching in behind. With Dylan Murray pull Kenseth to the front in 2 laps as Casey Kane fights for a win in the Daytona 500. Question is, who will go where? In this one, first start, kind of a new age for Casey Kane. You got a car, some cars maybe stacking into pit road because I don't think they made it on fuel. As Casey Kane takes the white flag, 1 to go at Daytona. Kurt Busch and Ryan Newman behind in second as 2 cars start locking up on the inside. Dylan Murray trying to maybe side drive, see what that does. And somehow it's working as Dylan Murray just got a huge slingshot. This could be it. Into 3 for one last time. Of course, Dylan can't clear. There goes they're wrecking. Turn 4. Racing back no matter what. Hard into the wall goes Almirola, and Kurt Busch will win the Daytona 500. Those some nasty shots down in turn 4 there. Out of all this, they're saying Casey Kane won the race, even though. Let's go to look at the replay. Go back to the moment of when the crash happened. when Boyer was flipping in the back. So, Casey Kane won the Daytona 500. So, this is the contact here. Kurt Busch, it's turned around. Then here's the 93 of Quapple getting in this wreck. Both of those cars are heading for very nasty shots. And then as they begin to, the wreck continues to develop behind. Eric Almirola takes a massive shot to the inside wall with no safer barrier. Cars begin to pile into this, not even knowing what the wreck's going to look like behind them. So Casey Kane will win this race. It looks like Dylan Murray was trying to side draft them maybe. And then it just turns into a big mess at the end of turn 4. So cars that crashed back there are, and this is at the moment of yellow. Everyone else behind was able to make it unscathed. So there's a small crash at the back. Kurt Busch in the 51, you saw him back there in the white car. And it looks like a couple more cars may have had some damage as well. Were collected late. Looks like it was a maroon car. There's a couple others in the field. It was a maroonish red car, not like Boyer's, who was upside down. A lot of damage to his automobile. So the cars that wrecked, that are all in that you can actually catch all in this frame. AJ Allmendinger, who had a wicked shot in the inside wall. Dale Jr. in the 88. Paul Menard in the 27. Nibco Chevrolet. Jeff Gordon was spinning around off of turn 4. And Kurt Busch in the 51. So how those cars, how Gordon, Menard, and Jr. got collected in that, I have no idea. But Casey Kane takes the first spot in the elimination playoffs. So after that crash, we'll go ahead and look at the unofficial results. Casey Kane winning the first race after a late crash erupts behind, claiming at least 6 cars. Ryan Newman was able to miss it. So let's go ahead and look at the results. Casey Kane wins the Daytona 500. Dylan Murray is second. Matt Kenseth third. Carl Edwards fourth. Ryan Newman fifth. Joe Nemechek sixth. Juan Pablo Montoya seventh. Austin Dillon eighth. Sam Hornish Jr. in ninth. And Kurt Busch 10th. 11th is Dale Earnhardt Jr. 12th is Travis Kvapil. 13th is Eric Almirola. 14th is Kyle Busch. 15th is Paul Menard. 16th is Denny Hamlin. 17th is Marcus Ambrose. 18th is Greg Biffle. 19th is Scott Speed. 20th is Casey Mears. 21st is Josh Wise. 22nd is Tony Stewart. 23rd is Landon Castle. 24th is Michael McDowell. 25th is Jeff Gordon. 26th is Mark Martin. 27th is Ricky Stenhouse. 28th is Jeff Burton. 29th is David Reagan. And 30th is David Gilliland. 31st is Bobby Labonte. 32nd is David Stremme. 33rd is Jimmy Johnson. 34th is Kevin Harvick. 35th is Jamie McMurray. 36th is Clint Boyer. 37th is Robbie Gordon. 38th is Trevor Bayne. 39th is Brad Keselowski. And 40th is Martin Truex. Joey Logano finishes 41st. Danica Patrick finishes 42nd. And Regan Smith ends up 1 lap down. These are the only 2 cars that fell a lap down at the end of this race. So next time at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Mountain. We will have the Cobalt Tools 400 from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for race 2 of 36, 53 laps, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. That is next time. Have a great day.